how did I get myself in this mess? Alright, so you probably know by now how we enjoy going to unknown and faraway places.
Today, finally gonna try to go to Batagai.
After putting the coldest city in the world under the spotlight, we felt that it was time to go a step further and explore what this absolutely large part of the world has to offer.
Вы уже сколько дня здесь? Сколько дней? Неделя уже?
This is the story of how, in some of the most extreme weather conditions on Earth, I hitchhiked one of the most dangerous roads in the world.
Our journey starts by reaching the small town of Topolinoye, which already isn't an easy feat in itself, as you'll need to drive 6 hours to the town of Khandega, the main stop for people wanting to reach Oymyakon, before driving another 6 hours on an unpaved road in a freezing Siberian taiga on a completely different route. It is quite bumpy but pretty straightforward. We would stay at a local's house improvised as a hotel before seeing what this place has to offer. Topolinoye is a town of less than 1,000 inhabitants, but this is one of very few in Yakutia with an ethnic majority of not Yakut but Evan people, an ethnic group with no more than 20,000 people left in the world.
This is actual shore? Yes, spinal cord.
That's crazy. While the Yakut are known for their horses, the Evan are deer herders. They have become masters of surviving in what is basically an ice desert, using every resource to the maximum of its possibilities.
Это бараньи рога. Красавчик. Вот это вот, чтобы сюда снег не попал, дождь не попал. Комары не кусали. Вперед надо. Лассо, да? А потом начинают плести.
You just like cut like a whole piece and then just go around. So you can have something very long like this.
But it is not always about survival.
Чондукан называется. Мячик. Только за хвостик ловишь. Вот так кидаешь. Хоп, раз. Два. На. Кто сколько? Оманджора Илон. Ава. Поняли? Оманджора Илон. Ава. Оманджора.
How does it feel to win?
Yeah.
How does it feel? Yeah. Nice, thank you.
So yeah, this is a musical instruments, all made of deer horns and
Nails?
nails, I
Nails,
guess.
I guess.
Как будто олени бегут.
It's like reindeers running. Actually, it's like this kind of sound.
Ну, детская игрушка тоже детям, видишь?
I used to play something like this.
Чтобы они
Really?
потом шили дальше.
In the kindergarten, you had something like this.
I used to play in like this kind of houses in the tent.
Маленький став. Ника,
It
он
became.
еще больше. Вот такой вот.
It was bigger, but it got smaller because it's dry.
Oh.
You can still feel the tongue.
It's an alphabet.
Look at the letter. Never
Yeah.
seen this letter before.
I used to have it when I was a child.
Apparently, this is a
You live.
camera.
That's how you shoot a picture.
Yeah, literally shooting a picture. Yeah.
It really is fascinating how people manage to develop such a culture despite the harsh conditions. But even today, the commodities still leave something to be desired.
Good news, there's actual water, like running water. The bad news is... I guess we got free Coca-Cola. Want to take a shower?
I'm fine, yeah. It's the same basically in all of Topolinoye apparently. So you just have to wait for a while. Getting better? Getting better? Getting better?
You were saying?
Now, let's get to business. Our end goal was for both of us to reach the town of Tixi on the Arctic Ocean, first hitchhiking to the town of Batagai. But you'll soon understand why things didn't turn out how we wanted them to be. Like, at all.
Today, finally gonna try to leave Topolinoye to go to Batagai. I don't know how long we're gonna have to wait.
This cafe right there is probably the best spot to wait for a car, since that's the only cafe in the city, so pretty much every truck or car that's going to Batagai is supposed to stop here for a break. Thing is, we've been here for already 2 hours. Nothing has come our way. Yeah, let's just wait inside and see if anything's coming and if we get lucky.
At least we had a nice and cozy cafe to wait in, but with nothing but a TV to keep us entertained, it got boring really fast.
It's 2:30, first nap, I guess. Only took us so far, it didn't take us. If we have to wait every 4 hours to get 2 cars, that's not much. We've been waiting for more than 7 hours now, and a truck just came. Steven's gonna ask. This is the first one in 7 hours, so we'll see.
Let me explain why hitchhiking here is such a bad idea. Batagai is situated about 400 kilometers north of Topolinoye, and the first thing you need to hitchhike is, well, a road that in this case really doesn't exist. You'll get to see what it actually looks like when we get there, but it's not just a road that's missing. There's absolutely no stop, no gas station, no real houses, nothing. And the whole trip takes at least 2 whole days. So you can easily understand why the very few people coming this way are not too eager to take even just one of us.
Nothing happened. Yeah. So it's now 9:30. Absolutely nothing. So we're going back home, giving up for today. Everyone's saying like they don't want to take us because either they have to sleep and they don't have the space, or they don't take us because they don't want the responsibility of taking us and having an accident and being responsible. So yeah, let's try again tomorrow and we'll see.
Now we're gonna head to the cafe. Plan is still to get to Batagai, but probably if we can't find anything, might just head back to Yakutsk, and that will be a complete fail.
And you will not see it. Alright, there's already 5 trucks right there. They're probably resting in the cafe, getting something to eat. We'll just wait for them here to get out and ask them and hope they're gonna go the right way and take us. That would be nice. Just ask 3 of them and they're all going back to Yakutsk, so not a good start. And now a dog just peed on my bag. Now I'm pissed. I'm pissed.
After a second day wasted by waiting, we just started to lose hope.
Well, turns out I did find a truck going back to Yakutsk, and I gave it to Steven. I'm gonna stay because there's a high chance of seeing auroras either tonight or tomorrow evening, and since I haven't seen any yet, I'm gonna stay until at least Friday, and I'll keep trying, I guess, because I have nothing else to do.
Good luck to go to Batagai. Probably you won't make it.
Probably won't make it, but if I do, that'd be pretty amazing. And I'm by myself. Cool, I guess.
To optimize my chances, I even started waiting not in the cafe, but right outside, even at night.
After an hour and a half, I see lights. I don't think I'm gonna get it, but I'm pretty happy to see at least one f***ing car after all this f***ing time. Alright, so in short, I've been waiting for like 3 hours now. This is the crossroads where with like this way to Yakutsk and this way to Batagai. So I think I'll just wait here, try to look as miserable as possible and see if it works out as a last resort. And then if it doesn't, I'll just wait here until maybe 1 more hour, maybe 2 more hours until the cafe closes, and then we'll call it a night, I guess. So yeah, this is fun. Alright, 4th day already. Last full day I'm trying. After that I'm giving up. Back at the crossroads, at least it looks a lot better during the day. Tired of seeing those mountains, but if that's better than pitch black night. Okay, there's a car coming. I hope it's going to Batagai. You had space in your car. Not a good start.
Waiting in minus 40 is really a torture, especially when there's barely any hope of getting anything.
This is really depressing. I expected waiting 4 hours. Didn't expect waiting for days.
But it's when you are the least expecting it that luck strikes. So, this is Grisha. This is his second time doing this trip, but the first time he does it in a car.
Oh my god, guys, I found a car! It's a good thing it's a car, which means it's gonna be way faster than a truck. Thanks to Grisha for taking me. He's checking the road right now because we're driving on the river, and this is not like other rivers where it's double checked. He has to check himself if the ice is not gonna break, because if it does, we might be in trouble. Finally, I'm so glad.
A car seemed like a good thing at first, but trouble came pretty quickly.
It's only been about 10 kilometers and it's already a mess. The road is way worse than I thought. Ooh.
What can hardly be called a road is already not suitable for trucks, but it's even worse for a car. And you see, every time we get stuck in the rocks, it's not like we can take a sweet little time to get out, as we only have limited fuel for the 2 days trip. And remember that it's minus 40 outside, so turning off the engine is not an option, as the car would freeze and not restart until the next summer, which we obviously can't really afford.
That was terribly scary, and we've done only like 10 kilometers out of so much more to go. What am I doing? Wow. I can't believe this guy was supposed to do all of this by himself. The car got stuck like 4 or 5 times. I didn't even count. This is crazy.
This was already bad enough, but wait until we get to this part. Talking about fuel, this is how you refuel your car.
Во Франции так не заправляетесь, наверное, да?
Да, конечно нет.
Этот мы закрываем, может замерзнуть там.
А,
Может,
поэтому
обратно не-
лучше не закрыто.
Но лучше не закрывать.
Of course, this is the road, but there's obviously no signs or anything. So the only way to know if you're going the right way is to ask people.
Дорога хорошая.
Дорога хорошая?
Ну, объезды есть, доедете, сказал спокойно.
Круто. Это зачем? Типа просто.
Это чтоб не мусорить.
А.
И немножко там греются и все. Сжигаете все. Там только эти остаются, железо, проволоки остаются.
The day went by and the sun started going down, and the road became harder to follow as we even had to backtrack a few times. We eventually stopped and had some dinner the Yakutian way.
When you eat in the wilderness, you have to live a bit of what you're getting and give it back to the nature. So we just put a piece of bread and some meat on top.
We then decided to stop here for the night, and as if sleeping sitting wasn't uncomfortable enough, you have to know that even though the heater stays on through the night, the floor is still below zero. If you left a bottle at your feet, it would freeze. The cold biting my toes would wake me up several times during the night, though there is one time I'm actually glad it did. These pictures were shot with a bad phone camera, so you can bet it looked even better in reality.
Alright, good morning. It's now 8 a.m. We've been driving for about an hour now. Grisha slept only like 6 hours, but he seemed fine. As you can see, there's still some houses here, but none of them are used to this day. They are at least 40 years old. This used to be like a camp, like a gulag camp. It's probably been used also for like geology stuff by some scientists, and now it's completely abandoned. That's the only side of houses we've seen since the beginning, and we've been driving for at least like 400 kilometers or something.
After 1 day and a half of driving, we reached the only thing resembling a settlement.
So this is basically the only cafe that's on the way. Some guy just lives here all winter for the truck drivers, and then when the river unfreezes, he just goes back to Batagay on the boat.
This guy just lives here off of some groceries brought from Batagay and hunting or fishing in the area. It felt great to finally get some break from the road and some warm food.
There's a few notes from different countries, mostly Russia, but like you can see China, Kazakhstan, and I'm gonna add mine with my Taiwan note. I left my mark.
Since we were a bit early on schedule, Grisha decided to take a 1-hour detour on some side road to visit a guy that lives as a hermit far deeper in the wilderness. This is Ivan. He made all of this by himself and stays here all winter.
Some story.
Today he got some hunter friends hanging around, and we got offered some much needed coffee for the rest of the trip.
So this is a moose's heart, of course. This is where he sleeps. It's impressive. This is how you make drinkable water as well. You just like cut some water from the river and then just let it fall and then drink it. They don't even have a door, it's just like a few sheets. Can't believe this guy lives here.
We then came back to the first settlements and met some people that weren't as lucky as we did.
Можете типа короче рассказать, что происходит здесь? Короче, сломался. Сломался?
Посол выкинул с расширена башка.
Вы уже сколько дня здесь? Сколько дней? Неделя уже? Еще сколько думаете? Не знаю, пока не знаю.
Вот слышишь, тепловая пушка дует теплом.
Здесь видно, да?
This place really is a saving grace for some people, as if their truck broke down anywhere else on the road, as there's obviously no network at all, they'd had to pray for someone to pick them up. Sadly, some people weren't so lucky.
Grisha was telling me a story about how like 15 to 20 years ago, some people actually died because they were stuck on the road, even though it was a road like this one where a lot of people go by. The thing is, back then, criminality rate was way higher and drivers used to just not stop. Like nobody was stopping because they were afraid like it was like a trap or something. That's really scary.
As the precariousness of our situation struck me again, we drove a few more hours and stumbled into what would be the scariest part of this whole trip. Despite the minus 40 temperatures, the ice started melting here.
That is scary. That is scary, man.
And since going back wasn't an option, we just took our chance and prayed.
А как? That was scary.
I really did question some life choices here. Most of what we had left to drive was fortunately on land, but the terrain was terrible. We were only about 100 kilometers away from the first actual village, and it took us 5 hours. At least we had one last interesting spot to visit on the way.
Basically, this house like used to belong to some older guy that just used to live here, and he used to offer like some tea and some coffee to drivers passing by. The thing is, drivers used to offer him vodka all the time, and because of that, he was drinking also all the time, and he ended up like getting sick because of that. And now he just went back to Yakutsk, and he's living the rest of his life there right now. You can tell people like still come here once in a while because there's some cigarettes on the floor, there's some piece of bread here, so it's not completely abandoned. I think people ended up just loving this place because of this guy and still come here like as a tradition, I guess.
2 hours and 40 kilometers later, we then reached the village of Tokuma. And if you think this was the end, well, I've got some bad news. Grisha told me that he wouldn't make it to Baragai as his destination was on another road, which means I had to stay for the night and start hitchhiking again the next day. Fortunately, he dropped me at a friend's place so I could sleep until the next morning and… wait, did I say a friend's place? Actually, I would spend the night not in a house, but in the village power plant with a single chair as my bed. The absurdity of this trip never seems to stop.
Cozy night on a chair. I'll be waking up in like 4 hours, getting to the cafe and start looking for another car. If I'm getting cold, I can just walk back here, which is nice, even if the cafe is not open yet. Yeah, have a good night, and let's hopefully end this tomorrow. Well, that was an interesting place to sleep at. Really want to reach Baragai so I can just call it a day and be done with this journey. Just arrived in the cafe and I'm already feeling cold. That's not good. I better not be waiting 4 whole days this time. I'm tired. Just a normal day. This is also my first village in Yakutia that's above the Arctic Circle. Actually, we passed it like already quite some time ago, which means it's only been a few weeks since they've seen the sun again. It's already 10 a.m. and the sun has barely gotten up.
All I needed was just one car, so I spent most of my time outside, walking around to keep my feet warm and practicing poses for the thumbnail to pass the time because, yeah, sure, why not? I've spent at most 4 whole hours outside, so I got plenty of time to have my face covered in my own frozen humidity. Because no, this isn't snow, this is only the result of my breathing freezing all over.
Alright, quick update. So, more than 6 hours waiting still, and I was, until now, waiting over there. For the first time, I saw a car going from here directly over there. And I'm supposing that it's a way for trucks that just don't want or need to stop in the city. I've been outside the whole time, so if I missed more cars, I would have noticed. But I think I might have missed this one. And I think it's the better strategy to just wait here. People will always tell you should wait in the cafe because supposedly everyone is gonna stop there for a break, but that's definitely not true. They're just telling you that to keep you more warm. But if you really want the first car you can get, you need to wait outside. This car could have been my saving grace, but I missed it. Alright, not making a second mistake, I'm staying here now.
Sadly, absolutely no car was coming through for pretty much the whole day and it really started to get depressing.
It's super late, I was starting to get really depressed. All the trucks are going to Yakutsk and not to Baragai. And something to cheer me up is that like this truck right over there, also he's not going to Baragai, but the guy offered me a fish. So I guess that's something.
The day would pass with no more opportunities. In the end, I still got lucky and got in contact with someone that would do the trip. And this would be, finally, my last car.
I'm just so tired right now. My fish. Really don't want to forget that. It's the only good thing that happened today after this call.
After a few more hours and actually a few more northern nights, I would reach my final destination, Baragai. There, I would stay at a friend's house who was one of the only English teachers of the region, enjoying my fish and some much needed rest. In the end, this trip was absolutely crazy and I swear I'm never taking this route again. But this is not the end, as my journey continues onwards to the disputed other coldest village in the world, Verkhoyansk. At least for now, my mind is finally at ease as I don't have to hitchhike anything again. Right?
Guess what? There's absolutely no taxi that goes to Verkhoyansk in the morning and comes back in the afternoon. It means I have to hitchhike again. Yeah!
And here we go again.